Today, we're going to tear apart how a world of total control gets built. And we'll see that it's not about big, epic battles. Nope. It's all in the quiet gardens, the tense hellos, and the little glances people give each other. By breaking down just a few key scenes, we can actually map out the blueprint for how a society like this really works, from the inside out. Let's dive in. This line right here just nails the central illusion of this world, that chilling gap between how things look and how they really are. From far away, sure, everything seems calm, orderly, peaceful even. But when you get closer, you see that the peace is just a thin layer of paint over a system of absolute control.
So, our journey begins in a place that should be a sanctuary, a beautiful flower garden. But you have to look closer. This isn't a space for freedom, it's a carefully managed territory, the personal domain of the commander's wife. And it's right here, among the roses, that we get our first real lesson in how power works on a small, personal scale.
Get this. In this world, even something like a hobby is a tool of the state. The wife's gardening, her knitting, it's not really for fun, it's a prescribed activity. And notice that detail about the scarves. They're childlike. It points to this totally manufactured, almost useless purpose. It's all about keeping the wives busy, giving them the illusion of purpose inside their very fancy cages.
And this right here, this cuts right to the heart of the tension in this house. The handmaid isn't just another person. She's a walking, talking symbol. To the wife, she's a reproach, a constant, painful reminder of her own status and perceived failures. But to the regime, she's a necessity. This impossible dynamic creates a relationship that's hostile from the word go.
So that first meeting? Yeah, it's not a friendly hello. It's a total power play, right from the get-go. By literally blocking the doorway, the wife establishes the hierarchy before anyone even says welcome. The message is crystal clear. This is my house. You are here on my terms. It's a masterclass in psychological dominance from the very first second. Okay, so we've just seen how the wife runs her little kingdom in this new world. But then, a memory hits the narrator, and it just shatters that image. She recognizes her. And in that single moment, the past comes rushing back, revealing the shocking truth of who this woman used to be, and the incredible irony of what she's become.
Think about this. Her identity is completely tied to her husband. She is the commander's wife. She holds a high-status position for sure, but her authority pretty much ends at her front gate. She can order a guardian around in her garden, but she's just as much a prisoner of this domestic world as anyone else.
And boom! With that one flash of memory, everything changes. The powerful blue-robed commander's wife suddenly has a ghost standing behind her, the ghost of a very, very different woman from the world before. And this is where the irony just slaps you in the face. The commander's wife used to be Serena Joy, a famous TV personality, a public figure with a powerful voice who actively campaigned for the very ideas that now trap her in a quiet domestic life. She was one of the architects of her own prison. Okay, so what we see inside the house is basically a mini version of the world outside. As the narrator steps onto the street, the quiet, subtle control of the house gives way to open surveillance. Out here, being paranoid isn't an overreaction, it's a survival skill.
You gotta understand, in this world, nothing is casual. A simple wink from a guard isn't just a wink. It's a puzzle you have to solve fast. Is it a sign of friendship? Is it a test from the secret police, the eyes, to see how you'll react? Or is it a trap? Every little gesture has to be analyzed because any connection could be a huge risk.
And the way this regime twists language, it's brilliant and terrifying. The handmaids have to walk in pairs, and the official reason is for their protection. But the cold, hard reality is that they're there to police each other. She is your spy, and you are hers. The idea of safety has been turned into a weapon of mutual surveillance.
And it's not just your actions. They control the very words coming out of your mouth. These aren't real conversations, they're performances. It's like everyone's reading from a script of approved phrases. If you go off script, it's not just impolite, it's dangerous. Language itself has become just another tool of control.
So you can see how this whole society is broken down visually. It's a super rigid, color-coded system. From the blue of the wives to the red of the handmaids and the green of the guardians, everyone's job, their status, and how much freedom they have is literally broadcast by the clothes they wear. There's no gray area here. You know exactly where you stand. All right, so as they keep walking, they hit a real physical barrier. a military checkpoint. And this is where that quiet social control we've been talking about gives way to the loud, obvious power of the state's military. And who's holding the guns? The young guys, the ones who've probably never known anything else. They're the true believers, the most fanatical, and that makes them totally unpredictable. They are desperate to prove their loyalty to the only system they've ever known, which makes them incredibly dangerous.
But then, right in the middle of all this oppression, you get this tiny little human moment. A young guardian, whose job is to be an unfeeling enforcer, gets overwhelmed by a simple human reaction. He tries to see the woman behind the uniform, and he blushes. In this world, a simple blush is a huge deal. It's a crack in the system, and that's dangerous.
And that one tiny human connection sparks this huge internal question, a what if. It's a fantasy of taking back control of her body and her identity. In a world that gives her zero agency, that thought, just the thought of what if, is a powerful little act of revolution.
So, how does that little spark of rebellion actually show up in the real world? Well, it's not some grand gesture. It's in the smallest, most subtle act you can possibly imagine. It's about finding a little flicker of power when you're supposed to be completely powerless. This is it. This is the rebellion. As she walks away, knowing those young guards are watching her, she just moves her hips. A little sway. That's it. That's the whole thing. She's using her body, the very thing the regime wants to control and commodify, as her own private, subtle weapon against them.
And this is what she calls the power of a dog bone. Think about it. It's not the power of a weapon. It's passive. It's the power of having something that someone else wants, but can't have. She can't fight them with force, but she can subtly remind them of their own humanity, their own desires. And in that tiny moment, she reclaims a piece of herself.
And that's really the question we're left with, isn't it? In a system designed for total control, where people are just uniforms and functions, where do you find real resistance? Is it in the big, noisy rebellions, or is it in those tiny, almost invisible acts of defiance that prove the human spirit can never, ever be completely stamped out?